Hello there, my delightful and wonderful Haywood Community College folks. I do hope that you all are having a wonderful end of the semester. I know that it's getting tight and we are going quickly. And so I wanted to go ahead and give you a couple of resources as you're wrapping up your semester in English 111 and developing your research skills. So the first thing is that what you're going to see here is the collaborative research project. So many of you have already kind of started getting in deep here, which is fantastic. And so if you're already like starting in the research process, that's wonderful. But I wanted to call your attention to just a couple of things. Is that first of all, the final here is going to be due May 10th. So the overall objective, so to speak, is that you are kind of doing things twofold. You are collaborating with your classmates in regards to growing your skill set, especially with scholarly writing. And then two is that you're preparing for your final exam, which is at Haywood Community College campus. So if you have not yet done so, please make sure that you schedule that ASAP because the window opens tomorrow, Monday, April 27th. I have the information in one of my course announcements, but you can always go to the final exam tab for more information on that. And so I'm gonna actually, you know what? I'm gonna go to that right now. So I'm going to project this, share this tab. Okay, so if you go to the final exam tab, you'll see that you have your information here about April 27th through May 8th. It's 20% of your overall course grade. So the collaborative research project, since you are developing a paragraph with your members, is that you are really honing in on that skill of paragraph development so that when you put the whole thing together, like you can see all the pieces. And so when you go in, the actual experience of taking the final exam will be a lot simpler. So there are allowed materials. So you have a Word document rubric. You can use Grammarly and a dictionary thesaurus. Now there are here videos of tutoring resources and hours and location and testing procedures to help you with that process. And so here are the 2025 English 111 final exam prompts. I think tomorrow I'm going to update the actual like prompt grade for you guys to take it who are going to be taking it tomorrow. But this will open for you tomorrow so that you can take that. So that is going to be on the final exam tab. Okay, so to prepare for this, when you have your window of testing, go ahead and make sure that you are following the guidelines that I've set out for you for your collaborative research essay. If you're working with the group that I assigned, then you are doing one paragraph. If you opt to do it yourself, which is a fine option, and I don't disparage that at all, you do need to actually work with other people in regards to troubleshooting, scholarly research development, and then also making sure that you get your paragraph edited. So you do still need to interact with those people. It's just whether or not you do the full research paper on your own is up to you. So I've got here some focus questions since you were focusing in on scientific inquiry. So remember that you're like doing, you're observing and noticing specific things in relation to like an observable factor phenomena here, right? So I've got some questions like, what role does physical exercise play in mental wellness? So these research questions are things that you can actually study. So you're going to develop like a scientific inquiry and a process of this. The testing and the research are like how you can like figure out whether or not what you're studying is valid to your data. And I've got here a oh, I'm sorry, I'm projecting the wrong thing. So I've got here your process of the scientific inquiry method, and then putting together like an actual process of that scientific inquiry. So with your group, this is your checklist. And so follow the checklist. but you know your research topic, you have a shared document that you've created to help process this, you help revise the group's hypothesis, the data, you are going to contribute at least one scholarly source, which I'm going to show you a little bit about that momentarily, and that you've written at least two full body paragraphs that are connected. If you do, so you're going to publish at least one for peer review. You have your transition words and you have MLA formatting with in-text citations. So these are like all of your final checks and everything for your collaborative research process. And since this is going to be factored into your 3Cs requirement for HCC, you do need to like work with your peer. Even if you are doing the research project on your own and you say that you hate working with other people, I do hear that a lot. I do understand that. You still need to post there so that other people can review your work and you can review others' work so that you can get that reciprocal relationship. Okay, so before I wrap up this video, please reach out to me with any questions. I know that I got a little backlogged last week. I think I cleared pretty much all of my questions out, and this should be a helpful video for the collaborative essay and your final exam. But what I want you to kind of take away is that if you're having any trouble with finding sources, I wanted to do a little mini lesson here to help you out. Okay. All right, so this is some information on how to find your scholarly sources. So here, the sources vary in type and style. And so what I've asked you to do is find at least one scholarly source, but some of the sources that you have are also like okay to be websites and things like that and mixed media. But what makes a good source? So for online articles, websites, mixed media, your sources should be written or produced within the last 5 years, unless they're a historical document that's specifically like in the historical research field. So you kind of want to avoid Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a tertiary source, which means that a lot of people contribute to it. So it's not a specific secondary. So you want to trace their sources. So you can go Wikipedia fishing, which is where you look for their sources. And so you can like go follow it and you can, and you do not need to cite the article if you have not used the source, but you can follow their information to get more information for your topic. So libraries are a good place to look, the Digital Library of Congress, and then HCC, you're going to be using peer-reviewed sources through Google Scholar, EBSCOhost, or Academic Search Premier. And so peer-reviewed articles are the process in which experts review other experts' work to determine whether it's accurate. And so I've got a YouTube video here that's attached onto your Moodle page that gives you some information about like how to look for peer-reviewed sources. And then this is, if you're looking on Google Scholar, this is how you like tell if an article is peer-reviewed. The article will tell you directly the entire site is peer-reviewed. The peer review is inferred, and narrowing your search topics. So like you can refine it to a digital search for cats, domestic cats from Australia, domestic cats from Perth, Australia. And so you can get narrower and narrower. So choose different keywords, and then as you're choosing different keywords, you want to like narrow your ideas down. So here's where you can go. So you want to go to the HCC library page, and then go to, from the HCC library, you can search for ERIC, Google Scholar, JSTOR, Base, Academic Search Premier, and those are all places where you can locate peer-reviewed websites. And so try to find those that are available for full PDFs and make sure that it has easy access to the citation information. Okay. All right. So this is a little bit on bias. And so look out for sources that are overtly biased. You want to try to like figure out like if it is a more objective article before you use it in your research. And then these are other keywords that you can use to help narrow down the focus there. So let's go ahead and do a little experiment. Okay, here we go. All right, we're gonna do a little experiment. So type in to your search box HCC Library's website. I'm going to project my screen. Okay. All right. So here you go. So you're going to get the research help here. Okay. So once you go to your library website, you're going to, okay, research databases by course cluster. Okay. So let's see what this looks like. All right. So let's say we're going to be looking for this particular piece at natural resources and agriculture. It might give me environmental studies, green file, Gale in context, science database. And so I can go to open access journals, for example. And here I can look for my topic, which might be AI and climate change. And here I might get database information from sustainable and operations and computers. My particular favorite is JSTOR, which JSTOR, I don't know if is accessible through HCC's website, but if you have access to JSTOR or can get it pretty easily in your search, it's a really easy to navigate database. So I'm going to show you this one if you use JSTOR, because you can look for Anne Boleyn and religion. Okay. And if I'm looking for Anne Boleyn and religion, here I go. And I see I've got 2,798 results, and I can actually narrow it down even more from there. And these are all accessible full text articles. Okay. All right, so I've gone a little long, and so I hope that that was helpful in your research process. But bottom line is I'm going to go ahead and return to this page. Bottom line is that you are going to submit your collaborative research project by May 10th, and this is going to be with the students that you're assigned to or on your own. If you have requested certain students to be in your group, then just let me know if that's something that we need to tweak before the final week. The other thing that you need to note is that the final exam will be open as of tomorrow. So contact Megan Clark if you have not yet scheduled yours. And you will take that on my Moodle page, which will be here, final exam. Okay, and it will be posted there. Okay. All right, everyone. I wish you all a great good luck on the last couple of weeks of the semester, and let me know if you need any help finding any resources for your collaborative research, or if you need any further resources for your final exam.